British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says a line has been crossed after Elon Musk launched a series of attacks on him and another government minister.
Elon Musk just went after Britain's Prime Minister in the most public way possible, and the whole country is watching their government try to hold itself together. Markets dropped, politicians scrambled, and millions of people are now asking one question: what happens next?
The world's richest man has suggested America should liberate Britain, fueling concerns over Musk's influence on politics and the impact he could have on our federal election.
3 days ago, Keir Starmer stood up in Parliament and made a big announcement. He said social media companies working in the UK would now have to pay a new tax. He called it a sovereignty tax on British user data. His words were strong and direct. Starmer said, "The era of tech billionaires exploiting British citizens ends today." He wanted to show his supporters that he was standing up to big tech, but he didn't expect what came next. Elon Musk wasn't interested in talking quietly behind closed doors. Instead, he did something shocking. During a Tesla board meeting that was streaming live on X, Musk released documents. He claims these papers show Labour's secret plan to control what people say online. According to Musk, this isn't about safety or protecting anyone. It's about power. They don't want regulation, Musk told his 180 million followers. They want complete control over what British citizens are allowed to read, watch, and say online. This isn't about protecting anyone, it's about protecting their own power. The reaction was immediate. Within 3 hours, the British pound dropped 2.8% against the dollar. That's the biggest single-day drop in over a year. Stock markets across Europe started falling. The FTSE 100 lost 2.4% by the end of the day. The Treasury had to put out an emergency statement at 2:15 in the afternoon just to calm things down. But here's where things get more complicated. Musk didn't just attack the new tax plan, he started talking about something from Britain's past, something painful and controversial. He brought up the grooming gang scandal from Northern England. Keir Starmer was the Director of Public Prosecutions from 2008 to 2013. That means he was in charge of deciding which cases went to trial. Early in his time there, his office didn't act on some evidence. They had doubts about whether key witnesses were telling the truth. But later, Starmer's office did secure important convictions and helped break up these gangs. Now Musk is saying Starmer should go to prison for what happened back then. So why is Musk bringing this up now? Many experts say the timing isn't random. Britain is working on something called the Online Safety Act. It became law in 2023, but it's not being used yet. The government has until spring to figure out exactly how to make it work. This law would force social media companies to protect children from harmful content. It would require age checks and codes of conduct, and companies that break the rules could face massive fines. Imran Ahmed used to advise the Labour Party. Now he runs an organization in Washington called the Center for Countering Digital Hate. He's had plenty of experience with Musk getting angry at him for wanting to regulate X. Ahmed says the whole grooming gangs controversy is just a distraction. Ahmed explained, "The media and political classes in general are being distracted by his sleight of hand. This is all flim-flam to disguise what he is really up to, and his agenda is purely economic in nature." Another expert, Professor Andrew Chadwick from Loughborough University, agrees. He says Musk's fight has both money and political reasons behind it. The regulatory context threatens Musk's idea of influence and how he operates in the world, Chadwick said. Musk works closely with the Trump administration. Any law that limits his power as a political player is a problem for him. The Online Safety Act is supposed to make big social media platforms stop children from seeing dangerous content, things like pornography, material that promotes self-harm, suicide, or eating disorders. Adults would be able to choose not to see certain content too. The law wants to make sure illegal material doesn't spread, but there's a catch. The conservative government watered down this law before it passed 2 years ago. In its current form, it can't do much to stop false information from spreading. That's especially important because X helped fuel far-right anti-immigrant riots in Britain last summer. Joe Mulhall works for Hope Not Hate, a group that fights against fascism. He points out the problem clearly. The irony with the Online Safety Act is that it has almost nothing that it can do to deal with the issues that emanate from both Musk and X more broadly. It had many of its teeth removed. But he adds that parts of the law dealing with illegal content could still hurt X if enforced properly. How the government actually uses this law matters a lot. The regulator Ofcom will decide that, but some groups worry the Starmer government might go easy on Musk because they're scared of making Trump angry. During the campaign, J.D. Vance, who's now vice president, warned that America might pull back from NATO if European countries try to regulate X. That's a serious threat. Peter Kyle is Britain's technology secretary. In November, he said the UK should show a sense of humility towards supports tech companies, he talked about them like they were foreign governments. But earlier this month, Kyle said he regretted that the previous government weakened the Online Safety Act. He promised to use the powers the law does have assertively and said companies that don't follow the rules would face very strident sanctions. This isn't just happening in Britain. Other countries are watching closely. In Brazil, Musk actually backed down. He agreed to block certain X accounts and paid a $5 million fine. If Britain enforces its Online Safety Act strongly, it could encourage other governments around the world to stand up to Musk too. The European Union has its own version called the Digital Services Act. The European Commission has been slow to enforce it. They started investigating X back in December 2023, but things moved very slowly. Then last Friday, something changed. The Commission gave X until February 15th to hand over internal documents. They want to see how X decides which posts get promoted and any recent changes to those systems. They also ordered X to preserve documents about future changes for the next year. Professor Chadwick says this could be a big turning point. He said Britain is starting to sort of develop regulations that impact the interests of these people, and it provides a model which other countries could follow. The financial stakes are enormous. The EU can fine companies up to 6% of their worldwide revenue. The UK's Online Safety Act goes even further with fines up to 10% of global trade. Senior executives could even go to prison. Chadwick thinks Musk might have made a mistake. "I think Musk may have overreached," he said, talking about Musk's recent personal attacks on Starmer and others. "I think he has made it potentially easier for the UK government via Ofcom to implement the Online Safety Act." Something has shifted in the past few days. But taking on Musk isn't simple. He's not like old media bosses such as Rupert Murdoch. Musk has hundreds of billions of dollars, and now he has the backing of the most powerful government in the world. Jen Golbeck, a computer science professor at the University of Maryland, sees it clearly. "I think he is really feeling his power right now." She explains that many tech CEOs think they're special and should be allowed to do whatever they want. Elon certainly has this worldview, and now the feeling of entitlement to do whatever he wants, unhindered, combines with having the money and political clout to get his way. Today on X, Musk called Britain's government tyrannical and said America should liberate the people of Britain. He's called Starmer utterly despicable and labeled a UK cabinet minister an evil witch and a rape genocide apologist. That minister, Jess Phillips, received death threats after Musk's post. This creates an awkward situation for America and Britain. They've always called their relationship special. Trump and Starmer had lunch in New York last fall and said they looked forward to working together. But now an official in the incoming Trump administration is openly attacking Britain's prime minister. It's almost unheard of between such close allies.